Good evening and welcome to today's edition of Conversations on the African Town Hall Online Television. My name is Francis Imeribe and I'm your anchor for this evening's edition. We are privileged to have a special guest today, someone who has distinguished himself as someone with the power to inspire other people. So all of us who have the luck and the privilege of being at this broadcast today, or who will see this video at some other time, will learn that they have made a man with the power to inspire. Now, being focused in life is the most critical element for the attainment of success. We are in a world today when being focused has eluded the rising generations of Africa especially, making them vulnerable to manipulations by rogue ruling class. The African Town Hall Online Television genuinely fear for the future of the youth of Africa. And we came up with an idea to help them access personal development, personal empowerment, and the capacity to midwife the African Renaissance. In our efforts to help the rising generations of Africa, we created Townhall Communication Company Limited and programs and projects such as Project 30 Before 30 International, which is a set of 30 goals every young person should set and work to achieve before they turn 30 years of age in order to become an early success. The African Town Hall Online Television is aimed at giving voice to the rising generations of Africa so they can speak up and take their rightful place in the scheme of things. And the African Town Hall eBook Club was established to encourage reading among the African youth, to remove the ugly narrative that if you want to hide anything from an African, you just need to put it in the pages of a book. One of the programs we have created is Conversations on the African Town Hall Online Television. We are pleased to have Wilfred Asuquo as our guest on Conversations today. Wilfred, welcome to our studios. Thank you. All right. Okay. Wilfred holds a Master of Science degree in Healthcare Informatics. He's a certified Agile Scrum Master professional with 14 years proven experience in project management, business, and data analysis. Wilfred is a certified John Maxwell leadership and wealth creation coach, where he teaches leadership skills, life and career coaching as a side hustle. He works with one of America's topmost healthcare management companies that owns over, 15 or 100 hospitals in the USA. He's a key business operations analyst, which is a very key and critical position in any company that is looking forward. He's the founder of Zid Worldwide Company Limited, through which he has organized a vibrant group of professional coaches and mentors. Zid Worldwide Company provides guidance to life and career-minded individuals seeking for headway in their goals and life pursuits. He's also a trained American pilot before he transitioned to his current career as a health IT professional. He is the host of a free life coaching monthly webinar by the title Common Sense with Freddie, where the attendees ask all their questions, all their desired questions on career and life issues. He's a professional speaker and author. Viewers, we invite you to join us today in this episode of Conversations on the African Townhall Online Television with Mr. Wilfred Asuquo, who is a highly qualified person in all fields of endeavor, especially in data analysis, health informatics, and IT. We want you to participate by asking questions, making comments, and showing your love for the program. Your participation would help your friends, family, and contacts to see this program and join you to have the benefits. We invite you to remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The African Town Hall. Your questions will be answered by Mr. Asuquo at some point in the broadcast. Okay, Mr. Asuquo, my excitement is beyond this, and I'm sure you can feel it to have you here, because I know who you are. I've read through your these things, and we've had a conversation that gave me an idea that you are the right man to speak in this place. So let's begin with this. Your credentials are inspiring, and for a young man, because to me you are a young man, I hope you realize. So your credentials are all inspiring. What is your story? What will lead a man to do so much in a short space of time? What inspires you? What drove and gave you the focus needed to make these great achievements?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Francis. It's a privilege to be here. I feel honored to be on your platform here in your studio. Thank you very much, all the audience listening to me. It's a privilege to be your guest on this program. Once again, thank you, everyone. Everybody keeps talking about my credentials. Listen, I want to believe there are other professionals out there with greater and more robust credentials than myself. Well, listen, this is just a little from a village boy. We are still learning. Mr. Francis, you see, coming from a very poor background or a humble beginning, as I may say, and above all, a non-minority tribe in Nigeria, you find out that we grew up with very less opportunities to strive out there. And I was just privileged to be a child of teachers. When your parents are teachers, they expect that you're supposed to stand out. But standing out in years past is different from standing out in current days with trending technologies, with different, aspects of educational advancement. So I found out that, okay, if I become extremely educated, I will have access to relate with the billionaires. I might not meet them one-on-one, but they will always seek for my skill set that will allow me to learn from them and better impact my life and the lives of others. So at any given time that I find myself, I have to think, is this going to be favorable, or is this going to allow me to strive? Can I make a change? What is going to be a cost of me doing this? I will consider my cost. I will consider the opportunities. Then I will venture into it. And like you rightly know, if I did mention, I started out with my HND in chemistry. I did applied chemistry in college. 3 years later, I couldn't secure a job. But I figure out that, okay, if I get a job that is going to allow me to do a certification, I'll get something doing. So aviation came into the picture, where I had to train as a cabin crew. I got the certification. Yes, that allowed me to start working as a cabin crew. So after working as a cabin crew for about a year, I figured out that, okay, I need to become a pilot, so that if I need to eat a frog, I should eat the one with eggs. So that was how I opted to train as a pilot. So that was how I came to the US to train as a pilot. Now, I sat down again. I figured out pilot is not going to pay so well, and it might not allow me to have, family dynamics. What is selling in the US? I figured out that, okay, healthcare, IT, they do sell. I don't want to go to the healthcare, and I don't want to go to IT. So let me stay in the middle, healthcare, IT. So I gamble into healthcare, IT. And then when I got in there, I figured out that just having my master's in healthcare informatics wasn't going to give me what I wanted. That took me to, studying more to secure all the certifications that you're seeing. So again, depending on where I find myself, I begin to use my mind. I begin to use my intellect. What can make things unique? What can stand me out? Because with those skill sets that I have today, any company will want to, seek for my services. I analyze processes, I analyze data. So any billionaire would definitely want, the services of anyone with my skill set. So that's how I, found myself in such, you call it what do you call it? Inspiring.
Inspiring.
So, I mean, a lot of people do understand this, and they go all out to make sure they attend them. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much. And the, you mentioned something, and I would like to take that before I go to another prepared question. Uh, each time you are thinking, and as you mentioned that, my mind goes to one of my books. It's called Growing from Your Experiences. In that book, you discover that I held a meeting with myself several times. That is, if I'm onto something, I see to where it is going. The next thing, I'll sit down again and say, hey, where is this going? What is this? How far do I do with this? And then it gives me the chance to do the next thing. Have you heard this expression, life is a thinking man's game? And what do you feel about that?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Like I always say, every outcome that we desire, it's in our mind. And like you rightly know, the mind is the greatest asset in the world. So whatever outcome that you desire, it comes from the mind. And the mind is seated here in your brain, and your head covers it. So for every single step you take, it demands a process. And you have either a success model or a failure model. So if you go through a certain phase and you succeed, that's already a success model. So when you find yourself in a certain circumstances again, you might have to redefine that success model to suit that particular circumstances. So it's a phase. So I agree with you in that statement, sir. So for every phase you find yourself, if you face a failure per time, that failure will also serve as a failure model for you. So when you find yourself facing anything similar to that, you will exactly know what to do because you faced it before. So success is a phase. It's a phase. So each time it demands thinking. Each time it demands you to sit down and strategize. And like the mind is 100%, 5% is conscious, and 95% is subconscious. And this 5% conscious is the thinking mind. I like everyone to be conscious of this statement. Your 5% of your mind is your thinking mind, is your reasoning mind, is the decision-making mind. It's just 5%. Now, your 95% controls, like your talking, your breathing, your eye blinking, your blood flow in your system, and then every other information goes through your subconscious mind. And now the subconscious mind is driven by emotions, also driven by feelings. Now, Think about it. Any decision you make out of emotions or feelings, the last time I checked, it doesn't go down well. So a lot of people do not understand that you need to use your 95% of your mind to depending on your 5%. So the 5% control the 95%. If your 5% of your conscious mind do not control your 95%, then you will always going to be making mistakes, making decisions or taking decisions out of emotions. And that's why we have a lot of conflict around us. We have a lot of problems around us. That's when we begin to complain. That's when we begin to feel depressed. That's when we begin to feel anxiety will set in, failure will set in, disappointment will set in. But when your 5% of your conscious mind is at work, listen, your outcome is always going to be excellent. So you have to master your success model at all times. Every phase of your life or every phase of your life, they do have what is called a success model. So I come back to myself. I grew up in Nigeria. I went through from my village to Lagos. It wasn't fun. I left home before I was 16. I got to Lagos before I was 16. From Lagos to Ekiti, that's college. Hell. Better told than experienced. I don't want you to experience it, okay? I was very young. Very young. Now, I went through those each phases. I understood what I did. And then I did all the menial job you can think of. And you know, as an Akwa Ibom boy, they will always expect you to do a houseboy. Yes, I did them at the time. But I knew I was going somewhere. But at some point, I transitioned out from being a houseboy and I was working with a world-class organization, which took me around the world till date. So, getting back to the US, I also faced challenges. What did I do? I had to replay the success model that I used to face those challenges over there in the US, and I'm getting the same results.
Awesome. This is interesting, and you know, this life I have come to see that in life, what you get is what you're after. If you're not after something, you get nothing, and if you're after something, you get something. And I like the way your mind works. You're always looking at where you are and then where you want to go next. That is brilliant. Thank you very much. Now, if I follow your career line very well, it has been almost science. From the first one to the next one. Then, how did you? What inspired you to go for John Maxwell certification to become a John Maxwell certified coach, and then leading to the creation of Z-World worldwide company, and then that consortium of career, entrepreneurship, and life coaches that you have organized? What leads to that? And what's the main focus of Z-World worldwide company?
Okay, thank you very much. Again, depending on where I find myself and the opportunities that I'm exploring, that would determine my next line of action. So I have been coaching as long as I can remember. As long as I can remember, I've been coaching and I've been impacting people positively, helping them to, there are some of us that are just blessed the fact that we spend a lot of time making researches about things. Before we make any step or we take any step, we'll have to think through. We'll have to, look beyond what we are looking at before we will take a step. So in the course of my coaching people, directing and mentoring young people, even adults as well, I found out that I was guiding and coaching them based off my personal experiences. So, and one of the things I was, anticipating and looking forward to was joining the corporate world in the US, here in the United States. After I completed my grad school, I did a lot of training, I did a lot of certifications. As soon as I launched into the corporate world, I said, yes, I think it's time for me to begin to scale up the coaching business. Long before now, I had already registered Z Worldwide, like since 2018. So In scaling it up, I knew people were going to ask me, what made you a coach? How are you a coach? How did you become a coach? And sincerely, I had always wanted to join John Maxwell, but I wasn't financially buoyant at the time because it's a very high class organization whereby you definitely need to, come in with some expectations. So when I made up that, I made that decision that I was going to scale up Zit Worldwide. And Zit Worldwide basically is an organization that is aimed at breaching that gap between young professionals, organizations with professionals that can help them to optimize their outcome. I'll give you an example. I have a lot of clients, they have masters from reputable organizations, universities, they have certifications, but they can't get a job. What can you do? How can we help you? We come into to bridge that gap. Some want to transition from one level of their career to another. And for me as a person, I've transitioned from 3 different careers and I've found success in them. Okay, we can help you to share our model and guide you through to transition from one career to the other. Some wants to relocate from one region of the world to another. What can you do differently? So there are some people, they are not privy to information. So Zit Worldwide, we have all the resources, we have professionals that can help you to optimize your expectations, your outcome by guiding you through. So that's exactly what Zit Worldwide is into. And sometimes you might be thinking, oh, I need a coach. I need a life coach. I need a business coach. I need a relationship coach. You need different coaches for different aspects of your life. Zit Worldwide is there to bridge that gap. All you need to do is jump on the web, Google zitworldwide.com, and then you follow through the process. And the coach will just meet you, and then you start your conversation. It's as easy as that. Anyway, the application is coming. Things you can do. This is the same thing you could do on your phone. Our chat, our sessions will also be carried out on our applications. So that's basically what Zit Worldwide is into. So I ask myself, should one ask me, who made you a coach? What made you a coach? And at the same time, I needed to be significantly professional in my delivery. Because yes, I have all this experience, real life experience. But let's say I want to explain something like emotional intelligence, social intelligence. How am I able to articulate it? So I needed to find myself in a training school. That was what took me to John Maxwell. I learned a lot. My delivery, how to build a business, how significantly, it's a great institution. And interestingly, you can never stop learning. The learning is continuous because the coaches and the mentors in there, they are phenomenal. They definitely help you to optimize your skills, your talents, your experiences to better impact the world out there. So that's what took me to John Maxwell. I just needed to be a little bit behind in coaching. Also, I needed to identify with the brand and keep my sanity and my professionalism intact at all times. So, because right now, because I know I am an ambassador to that brand, John Maxwell, I mean, a lot is expected of me. There are certain things I can't do. There are certain things I can't say. There are certain actions I cannot take. And also, working for a reputable organization like my company, a lot is expected of me at all times. So as a life coach, as a professional, my client holds me in a high esteem and they expect so much from me and I cannot offer less. So the best I can do is to constantly keep learning, keep equipping myself, and keep raising the bar and the standard up. So when I ask my client, you need to raise your bar up. You need to, increase your professionalism. You need to seek more knowledge. They won't be looking at me like, you're asking me to do this. Did you do that? Mr. Francis, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I am connected with a man. He the at a point in our life, he's the president of our church. Gordon B. Hinckley is his name. He said that a truly educated man never ceases learning.
Yes, right.
So Yeah, I think that what you are in that same mindset
Mhm.
that to really stay educated, you need to continue to learn, which
Yeah.
is very awesome and exciting to me. Okay, thank you. This is helpful. All right, now um, in the African Town Hall Online Television, we believe that for someone to begin his or her life properly, have a meaningful life, and to have real and enduring success, he or she needs to have a strong foundation based on the right philosophy of life, values. I think you've hinted on this in the as you spoke, but I'd like you to couch this again. So, what are those central philosophies and values of your life that have guided everything you have done? Either you are search for knowledge, you are pursuit of excellence, or even all the great things you have built. So can you rephrase those again in a more clear way for people to know the importance of philosophy and values in their lives?
My central philosophy of life and values is nothing but the use of my mind.
Great.
Master your conscious mind. You have to live in your conscious mind. Now, until you master your mind, your thoughts cannot be mastered. Until you master your conscious mind, until you understand the power of your mind, your outcome cannot be optimized. Everything we desire in this life, every outcome that we desire to attain in this life, are all embedded in our mind. When my mind is mastered, my results are optimized. I can tell you, anything I set my heart to accomplish, I tell you, I will get it done and delivered because my mind will be fixated in it. I will strategize it with my mind. With my mind, I can connect with Mr. Francis. I can connect with whoever I need to connect to get my outcome delivered. But you see, when you live in your subconscious mind, which a lot of people, a lot of folks out there are living in their subconscious mind, like I said, depression, anxiety, frustration, disappointment, sadness will be the order of the day. So if there is any principle or any philosophy that I have or that I, focus my mind on, is the use of my mind. And this is the reason. You see, our mind is in our brain and our brain is in our head. And you guys will agree with me today that when your mind or your brain is having a, let me say, you're sick mentally, there is no doctor that can cure it. They can only manage it. And let's say your brain is dead. You have a brain dead. God forbid nobody's having a brain dead. Example, someone that is having a brain dead. No doctor can cure it. And what is that telling you? This part of our head, of our body, is the vital part of human. It's so special that if something goes wrong, it is only God, only the creator himself that can fix it. For those of you that believe in God, just like I do. If you don't, that's fine. Whoever created us or whoever created the head, that is the only person that can fix that part of the body. So now, what is that telling you? For me, God in me is my brain. That's my belief system. God in me is my brain. So God gave me that brain. Inside my brain lies my mind. So God is sitting inside of my head. So I need to use him very well. That's why I do not see any challenge or any opportunity as one that I want to play around with. Why? Because God sits inside of me. I need to maximize him. I don't need to go and be looking for him anywhere. He's sitting right there. So I need to use him. Because if it fails, either I am done, they'll say I'm mad, or he himself will have to fix it again for me to be useful. So my
You know
great
that is
philosophy is the use of my mind.
I think that is awesome. And in our church, we said, sorry, I have to repeat church here, but this is not a sermon. This is not a church. This is a conversation on how to really live life and find fun and happiness in it. We learned that God will not do for you those things He has already given you power to do. What I'm understanding from that, from you, is that God has given us power to make maximum use of His own power, of Him in us. And of course, in the scriptures, the Bible, those who Christian people, they read the Bible, there's a place clearly say that God is in us, is inside us. And I mean, the way you couch it is different from how I know it, and that is awesome for me. So I thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. What is your take on the saying that readers are leaders, or that leaders are readers, and a reader today is a leader tomorrow? And there's this quotation credited to Napoleon Bonaparte. We all know him in history, who said that, "Show me a family that reads, and I will show you a family that controls the world." I mean, you said something earlier about reading with you. Could you, tell us what you feel about all of this and connect them to everything? Let's see if we can inspire one person to go hit the road today and get a book and read.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Francis. Show me a family that reads, and I would show you a family that controls the world. Listen, like I said, I knew it too well that if I become very educated, if I take a certain skill set and I master it and I grow in it, definitely my voice will be heard. Definitely billionaires that owns their big conglomerates would definitely seek my skill sets to be part of the company or organization. And definitely that's what is happening today. Now, the other aspects that you said, a reader today is a leader tomorrow. Of course. I'm a village boy from Odobo. I wasn't educated at the time. But as soon as I started my journey with my HND degree, look at me today. From one level of reading to the other. And now I am, building up my little startup, my company, and professionals. I mean professionals, those with PhD and the rest, they are partnering with me. They could relate with me. If I wasn't educated, I probably would be finding it difficult to relate with them. Don't get me wrong. There are people that are not educated, but they are running a conglomerate of companies, but they're not very many. But the interesting part is that those that are not educated but running a conglomerate, they are seeking for professionals that are well educated to help them to manage and run their different sectors of their organization. So having said that, I will encourage every young person out there to seek to be educated, seek to read. I'm sure sometime in this conversation you're going to talk about it. If you want to hide something from an African man or African woman, there is a saying, put it inside a book. Why is it supposed to be like that? Just read. Significantly, almost all the things that I know today, I read them by books. I read all of them by books. I learned significantly by reading books. I jump on the computer, all I'm doing is reading. How many books are you reading? When I speak to my clients, and significantly, I like to introduce them to some books that actually inspired me. 2 books significantly that opened my eyes till date, helped me to optimize my growth. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, by Steve Covey. Yes, then Why You Act the Way You Do by Tim LaHaye. Those 2 books changed my life, and I read them when I was very young. I think I was 21 or 20. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People helped me to learn how to be proactive at all times, proactive in everything that I do. Now, for you to be proactive, you need to master your mind.
Oh man. Oh man.
Then the seven, I mean, Why You Act the Way You Do was a book that helped me to discover that I was a talkative. And then the book now will guide you on how to translate your weaknesses to your strength. Today I talk for money. I've been talking for money since. I don't talk for a waste.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I talk for money. A lot of you that do know, except I just want to talk for free. But definitely I have to talk things that makes a lot of sense. So, but that book helped me to discover that I was a sanguine by temperament, and as such, I can translate my, talkative tendency to making a fortune and a living. In Lagos, I used to do MCs. You call me to compare, you pay me. Yes. And then from one thing led to the other. Today, I do a keynote speaking. I do public speaking. I do several things. So I don't just go around talking for. So to help me optimize that, I needed to read a lot of books. I needed to optimize all my experiences and make sure they are right on point. So readers are leaders, no doubt. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That is awesome.
Mhm.
That is awesome and very touching at the same time. And as soon as we can know these things, certainly our life will be different for it. Our life will be different for it. Okay, this is touching me so much. I hope that our viewers are getting the same experience. Well, viewers, we can see you on the counter. We invite you to participate by comments, by asking questions. And if you do not agree with anything Mr. Asuquo has said, I give you the freedom to attack him for it by, speaking your own part, and let us use it to expand this discussion. Remember, this is conversations. We are just discussing, hoping that one of our children will hear that, one person will hear it, and go to bank with what they have heard. So join us by your comments, by your likes and love, and by your questions. If you have questions at the end of the day, Mr. Asuquo will deal with them at some point in this meeting. Okay, thank you. Mr. Asuquo, you already hinted some of the book that impacted your life, and that is so touching. And I hope I'm going to look for that highest book. I've not read that one. I know I've read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm going to look for Why You Act the Way You Do. I think I've seen that book. Probably have an ebook version of it. Now you've inspired me to want to go and read it. So if you didn't get anybody inspired today, you have one man here, which but you are getting more than that because I'm seeing the counter of visitors here. Okay, thank you. So like you hinted, I would like to know how concerned you are about the narrative that if you want to hide something from an African, you should put it inside a book because Africans don't read. When you are responding to that, we would like you to know, tell us if that assertion is true and what we can do today as Africans to deal with that. But before you respond to that question, let's take a message from Townhall Communication Company, the people that are keeping us here. Or that when we return from that message, we will have you respond to the question that has just been asked.
Okay.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for your time. So, what will you tell us about that scenario that has just been painted? It's
O-
raining all over the world now, and
Okay,
then we'd like to hear your views. Yes.
thank you very much. Okay, so this is where my skill as an analyst come into play. I use that skill set for everything. So in my personal life, career, everything, I like to analyze things. Okay, so let's think about it as Africans. Was books, reading, education our part of our foundation, or was it part of the things that we were made up of? Our forefathers, were they educated? That's a question we should ask ourselves. Um, don't take me by my words. It's just my own personal analysis, viewers. So, I mean, you might be thinking something different, but that particular statement that if you want to hide something from an African, just put it inside a book. Since African don't read. Yes, that's the truth. And the reason is because initially, from time immemorial, we were not educated. We weren't having schools. We were farmers. We were traditional people. That were our culture. We were traditional people. So now, reading books, religion, most of the things we now, adopted, definitely they are all borrowed the word culture. Borrowed culture. You see, some of our parents in the village, I saw a man in my village, he was over 100 at the time. He never been to the city, he never used his phone, he never went to the hospital. Tell me about it. Does he know what education is? Definitely no. So now, be that said, something that you were not used to, but you were introduced to it, it takes you time to adapt to it. That's number one. Number two, now that it was introduced to our, continent of Africa, has it been evenly distributed, or has it been evenly made available to everyone? No. When I was going to college or high school, we used to use candle to read. You guys know how that goes. I'm sure Mr. Francis too. Did you have light 24/7 in your
It wasn't even candle. It's
okay?
it was bush lantern and all of that.
Okay. You can imagine what you have to go through to be able to read. You know what I mean? And then I was going to school here. Anytime I get into the class and I sit down in the class, projector is there, AC is blowing me, I'm feeling good. I'm like, how can I fail? How is it possible for me to fail in such an environment? How is it possible for me to fail? Now, I've been reading books because anyway, when your parents are teachers, they mandate you. Reading becomes mandate, as in compulsory at home. So I've gotten used to reading growing up. So now I saw a need that I don't want to be buying hard copies anymore. I decided to switch to what? Kindle. So I buy books, ebooks now to read. You see how easy it is? So now back in Africa, you are not even sure of your next meal, let alone wanting to buy books or buying ebooks. Now, even if you want to buy ebooks, do you have a platform to study them? Some of us, our phones cannot even hold our basic contacts, let alone hold a large volume of an ebook that you're downloading online. Now, it costs you money to download because of your data. That's still expensive. Now, when there is a high level of unemployment, like in Nigeria, almost 60 to 70% of unemployment. So when you have money to pay for all this, so the best way is just put the stuff inside book. They're not going to read it. They won't see it. It's as simple as that. I tell everybody there is a particular scene in the Holy Book. I don't like to talk about it, but it's the truth. They put it in there for us. And they told us it is a sin. Okay, if this particular thing is a sin, it was put inside the book. We all believed that it's a sin. We all carry it. Oh, it's a sin. But guess what? How many people did God Himself really destroyed, punished for committing that particular sin? Like every other sin, people that steal, God punished them. People that committed adultery, God punished them. People that committed prostitution, God punished them. People committed murder, God punished them. But I never saw anybody God specifically punished for committing the word fornication in the Bible. But guess what? We all learn to believe that that is what it was. In my own analysis, you guys are hearing me today. That word fornication was like a birth control for Africans. It was hidden inside the book. Because they believe that when they tell you that don't have sex before marriage, you will be afraid to have sex so that you don't multiply. Can't you see our population is so huge? Because the same way they brought every other values, every other culture, cultural invasion to us, if they had to bring birth control so that we do not multiply the way we did, it cost you to see a doctor. It cost the doctor to assess you to know which birth control that they're going to give to you. And this birth control, you have to buy it every single month. It costs money. All these things cost money. So to better just make us believe, the religious thing is awesome. Just put it in there. So they put it in there. Now think about it for a minute. How many people are committing fornication every day? How many do you see got really punished? No. And then wherever that came from to Africa, if you go to that source where it came from, it's a way of life. Fornication is a way of life. And then you think about it as adults that we are talking. Was the creator expecting that a 40-year-old man who is not married, but he has emotional feelings for an opposite sex, did he expect him to keep his manhood without using it for 40 years? Questions to answer. And now in the holy book, whom did God punish for committing that particular thing? So that's a typical example for me, that they hide something inside the book. Nobody wants to dig deep how that goes. Now, if I say that, a lot of people say, Wilfred, you've come again. Come again. And I'm like, okay, but aren't you committing it? How did God punish you? Haven't you seen people that committed it and they are like very, very successful around the world and there was no punishment? He is single, she is single, she is meeting without material gain, which is prostitution, which is that God don't like. How is it the sin? I don't understand it. They now tell me about the New Testament. I said, come on, let's use our brain here. So in essence, and I'm still saying it, there are so many things you will definitely put inside the book and give to an average African man. He will never want to open it because one, it's very difficult to read. I must confess to you guys, it's difficult. It's very demanding to read. It takes a lot of discipline to sit, read, understand, then bring out a sense out of it because you feel like you're an adult. Nobody should tell you what to do. So why would you listen to what other people are saying? So again, I can mention so many examples that stuff that has been put inside the book that we didn't even take a look at it. And here we are still suffering the impact of it as Africans. So not until you sit down and open that book and read them in between lines, then we are not going to be heading anywhere at all.
Okay. And I was asking, what can we do? Is there anything we can do to kind of begin to increase interest in reading in the African, given that from your own experience and mine, we both know that there's so much to get from reading books.
Okay. Mr. Francis, it's not far from the fact that we need to change our mindset. And that's why to all my audience, everybody that have spoken to me before, both individually or as a group, I'm always talking about the mindset. We need to change our mindset first. We need to master our mind, the power of our mind. Because if you want to solve this problem on the surface, it's not going to go away anytime soon. It has to solve from the foundation. So because we do understand this, and I will encourage every single person in every nation, example, my country, for example, what should be done? It should start from, I think I was talking to you the other day. I told you in schools here, they teach them the soft skills like in high school or in middle school, stuff like integrity, saying the truth, being honest, being self-esteem. They try to establish that into you, which is foundational as a child growing up. Okay, so to change this too, you have to start from the foundation. Change the mindset. Now, if you're changing the mindset, you have to make available resources. If you are changing their mindset, you don't make available resources. For example, how many library is there in every local government in Nigeria? How many libraries do you have in every cities? And even if you do, what books do you have in there? How many computers do you have with resources where they can avail themselves with? Yes, because just talking is far beyond that. You got to make resources available for the youth, the citizens of this particular country we're talking about, or region we're talking about, to avail themselves with most of these resources. Very important. Very important. So if you are wanting this change, we also want resources made available to everyone to better advance and grow. Now, you go to colleges, for example. Colleges, their library, they might not even have online resources. I recall when I was in grad school, almost all my research work, I had to go to the online resource in our library. In fact, the lecturer will point us to the library resources and tell you, go here, search on this, go, this paper is in there. They are all online. In our colleges, do we have that? We don't. We don't. Here, we definitely have to go to the library, pick up hard copy book for free, read it, and return it. Return it on a certain day. Boom, it's there. How many do we have that in Nigeria? We don't. Do we have it? How many countries in Africa do we have them? So the culture of encouraging you to do something and ensuring that those things they're asking you to do, the resources are there. It's another factor. It's another factor. So sometimes when I'm trying to discuss or talk to people about the power of their mind, how to master their mind to do things, I will end up telling them, you said, do this for now. You might not have all the resources to attend them, but in subsequent, years ahead, they're definitely going to work out for you because you've already built the foundation. So to all my mentees, to all the people, my clients, I encourage them, spend your time, spend your money, buy these books by yourself. Go for them. They're going to help to build you for the future. So that means you have to pay a personal price by yourself in the current set of things because the government are not making them available. So your little money that you would use to, have some fun, you have to learn what is called delayed gratification. So you have to adopt that delayed gratification to rather go for knowledge, go for wisdom, seeking wisdom by buying books by yourself to read for the future. The ones I mentioned to you, I bought them. I bought them. I bought them.
Very, very, very interesting. And, it is things like this that begin to the mindset change, because it's a thing that we have to deal with our mindset, a change we have to begin. So because of that kind of change that we must do, then people like you have set the example. That's why we are calling on you to speak. So we will go on a little break now. When we return, we'll take care of the rest of the question. We'll invite you to do something that is very important for us. Let's take a message from our sponsors.
Hello, everyone. We would like to introduce you to Witth Nigeria Limited. Witth Nigeria Limited is a Nigerian-owned and operated company using seasoned and accomplished professionals to execute complex security missions in conjunction with the host government to mitigate risk on behalf of our clients. Our team members have decades of experience in the security sector, bringing a wealth of knowledge and experience that not all security companies are able to offer. The success of the company is based on our unrivaled ability to build and maintain successful partnerships with our customers to provide professional and reliable security services. We pride ourselves on providing highly trained personnel experienced in dealing with the most complex of security issues. Since our formation, we have gained a reputation as a highly experienced company with a young, energetic and forward-thinking management team, offering the highest level of professionalism. We offer the following services. 1. Security awareness and training. 2. Program support and consultancy. 3. Risk assessment and investigations. 4. Executive protection and travel management. You can contact us on plus 234-807-227-2799 or 0702-525-4858. Or visit our office at 14 Buchanan Crescent, off Amanucano Crescent, West 2, Abuja, Nigeria. We would be glad to have you. Grace Worth. Leave your worries with us.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay. This is getting exciting, and I think all my dreams about this meeting is falling into place. I appreciate every bit of it, and I hope our viewers are getting the same value. I think they are. They must be. Okay. Growing up, one of the things that I know personally, also we've believed that in African Town Hall, is that dreams propel our actions and the things we do. When you spoke earlier today, you shared some of the things that dominated your thoughts. You move from this to this and so on. So the question I have for you is, how much did your dreams influence and propel you to what you are doing today? How much? You're an analyst, so give us the analytical report, the end result of your analysis, or how much your dreams influence what you're doing today.
Okay, so I think I've shared this story a couple of times on different stages that I found myself speaking. So my both parents worked for government, and because they both worked for government, they had something similar in common, and that was the fact that when they work, the government don't pay them. They need them. They're just gonna be owing them for months, and that left us in abject poverty. You'll be owing a teacher for 4 or 5 months, and when she's paid, all she could do was to use the money and pay all the debt. My mother used to send me to market people to receive, foodstuff on, credits for us to be able to eat. I remember severally how I went, and we were turned down. We came back home. I mean, sad experience. My dad too worked for government, owed salaries of months. So I made up my mind. I wasn't going to work for government. I'm sorry to say it. I determined that I wasn't going to work for government. And I said I was going to work for private sector. And at the end of the day, I would definitely have to create and set up my own business. So, and when I determined I was going to set up my own business, I didn't know the kind of business I was going to set up. And life started happening. Event upon event started unfolding. And like I said, at each given time, I will always think, what's the next line of action? Yes, I did have a great dream to be a voice where a lot of people would hear me. I did have a dream that I had desired to be a celebrity, especially in the entertainment industry, but I noticed very quickly that that was not my calling, to be a celebrity in the entertainment industry, but rather in the professional setting. So that's when I discovered that, okay, it might take me to be a little bit very serious, to study, to read, and acquire a certain level of, credentials to be able to make my voice being heard out there. So while in Nigeria, I would not look for a job in the government establishment because I wasn't ready for anybody to owe me. But come to think about it, even in the private sector, they still owe. People work and they don't get paid. There are no regulations that will stop an individual or an employer of labor who is owing you to be sanctioned or, So that became a problem. So then in my quest to, advance, like I said, at every given time, opportunity will present itself and I will begin to strategize to be able to harness the opportunity and move to the next level. So that became my tactic, or that became my strategy to advance, to accomplish my dreams. So now this dream that I'm living right now is something I had always desired, that I will need to give back to the society. I need to give back to the young ones who are looking up to me or us, who have already been through this part, But the truth is, you cannot give what you don't have. So for you to leave that significant impact, you need to pay the price first to stand out, to have an evidence of your, success model to be able to share. So that's exactly how this dream has unfolded till date. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate a little bit of that clarity there. It kind of joins forces with our belief in African Townhall that you need a dream, and a big one for that matter. Talking about the impacting other people's lives, can you give specific areas where your current pursuits are impacting the life of the youths of Africa?
Absolutely. Some people think, oh, I'm a success coach. Some think, oh, I'm a career coach. I said, no, I'm a coach generally.
Okay.
Because when you're talking to me as a client, like I always say, for you to make a choice in a particular career, I will need to examine your other aspects of life, probably your family dynamics. Perhaps you want to seek a career relocation from Africa to North America. Of course, I want to ask about your family dynamics. I want to know exactly what are your background or what are you intending to do. So you find out that I'm striving. Even when you come on LinkedIn, I post on every aspect of life. I post on career, I post on relationship, I post on every aspect of life, because again, I have walked through all those parts. I have had experience in all of them: marriage, career, name it, every aspect of life. So every single youth that come across me, even on my Facebook wall, I write on everything. I post on virtually everything. I motivate on every subject, because again, I didn't sleep one side, I had turned the side. I had slept this way. So every aspect of my life do kind of. So to better impact specifically, that's why I have coaches on Zit Worldwide on specific part: entrepreneur, career, relationship, name them. I have specific coaches for specific subjects. So if individual come on my platform and wants to reach out to a particular coach, of course, when you read through their profile, you will see the one that will meet your needs. So you will click on them. But if you want Wilfred is all around. I make myself all around. So we talk about it extensively, because again, what makes you a very good coach is when you have experience. And I've walked through the part of it. I can definitely share. Again, I've been married for almost 11 years. So I can tell you good marriage, bad one, because I've kept the two, one healthy, one unhealthy. I would also tell you stuff about career. I've changed my careers 3 times and I've been successful in them. So again, I've moved from one continent to a different continent. I've traveled around the world to different locations around the world. I can share that a lot. I have clients, I have friends across the world. So definitely I can make referrals. I can share recommendations and said, okay, I think this can work for you as a client, or that can work for you as a client. So there are people that don't have such well of experience like I do. So I would not but respect the fact that they want to focus on relationship and they stay in there. They want to focus on career, they stay in there. They want to focus on entrepreneur, they stay in there. Today, I'm building a business and the business is growing. The business is doing well. So I can actually guide, which I am already guiding young professionals who want to set up, who want to have a startup like me. So I find myself helping in that capacity. So a lot of Africans around the world have part of my, mentorship group, from Miami, from Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, South Africa, Tanzania. I have a lot of them in my group currently that I talk to, that I feel so delighted to be their coach or their mentor, as they call me. So again, impacting is like, it makes me feel good. It makes me happy.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you very much for that. And something like onto it, we in African Town Hall Online Television, we believe that failure You hinted it today. Failure is part of success.
Absolutely.
We know that nobody actually becomes successful who have not failed on something before. We know that mistakes and failures are for those who are doing something actively, and that only such have a chance to have and declare success in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you take a moment to talk about times where you failed on some, and and some costly mistakes you may have made, the ones you can share, and how you were able to bounce back and still attain success
Okay.
as you are pursuing today? Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good question, Mr. Francis. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to share real life experiences. You see, that's what makes me a coach. I like to share my own story. I'm not always shy to share it. One, let me see. Okay, I graduated from Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti in 2003. I finished my NYSC March 2005. So I didn't get a job till 2008, 3 years after. 3 years after. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. I didn't like it.
Yeah, nobody would.
Yes. I applied severally and nobody hired me. I applied severally, nobody hired me. So what did I do? I had to re-strategize, which I shared before. So that was an ugly experience. Now in the US, when I finished grad school, nobody wanted to hire me. Nobody wanted to hire me. So I had to figure out that I needed to go back to study and get my certifications together, which I had to do about 7 of them. In total, I had applied to over 130 jobs. I got over several rejections. I did over 80 interviews, which made me very solid on the inside eventually, before I finally got a job. You can see, I had several, rejections. Eventually, when I got a job, I got 3 offers. Now, I got married to an Asuquo lady in the US. Ugly experience. But I want to believe that my creator orchestrated it. I'm thinking, where was my brain? I wasn't blind. It wasn't like there was emotional activities that blinded my eyes. No. But that was one of the experience I never expected. As Africans, we are told, oh, no divorce. Oh, marriage, you have to manage it. No. It got to a point after 3 years. I told myself, Wilfred, you can't do this. I had to step out. I filed divorce by myself. In fact, till today, if I had money when I got my divorce paper, I would have done a party. It was one of the best decisions I made. And that's why I believe in divorce till date. Instead of you to commit murder or get into physical abuse, please step out of the marriage. Now, if I look back, did I make anything wrong to make that decision to marry? No. During that 3 years, I learned a lot. I tried to make sure I maximize it, but it was time for me to say goodbye. So every failure that you see, depending on how you handle it, makes you who you are at the other side. Makes you who you are at the other side. Terrible experience, but they all makes me who I am today. So now it's out of these failures that I'm able to coach my client, that I'm able to add value to all the groups that I'm talking to every single time. And like I always say, I'm a village boy. I grew up in the village. The challenges I faced in the village is different from the one I faced in Lagos, is different from the one I'm facing here in the US. There are challenges every day. And when I got out of that marriage, and you'll be like, you want to bring the baggage from your former marriage into the new one. No, I had to redefine my understanding about marriage. And today I can say, I've been married for getting to 9 years. Blissful one at that. Blissful one at that. So if you think because you fail, that makes you a failure. No, what makes you a failure is when you succumb to the failure and you do not manage it well. So when you face failure, how you accept it, some people can't handle rejection. They keep getting rejection letters from employers or from recruiters. They feel depressed and they just say, you know what, I'm not applying again. Whose fault? It's yours. You just throw in the towel and that's it. That's when you're a failure. But when you dust yourself off failure and say, you know what? I have another day to push back. What am I going to do differently? Perhaps I need to talk to a job coach or a career coach. You revamp your resume, you revamp your LinkedIn, you revamp everything you need to, and you've pushed back again to keep applying. Definitely, there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
I think you put that very powerfully, so powerfully that I believe we are well served with it. I think it was Robert Kiyosaki who said that inside every adversity, inside every challenge we face in life are opportunities. And then one of the best opportunities are anything that you pass through and you learn from it. That's one of the, that is not a problem, but a good thing, even though it might be painful. So becomes part of knowledge that we need to gain. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Very helpful. Okay. Well, let's talk to our viewers. Viewers, this is your program. We want you to join it. We have gotten some likes. We have need some love. We need some questions and comments. Mr. Asuquo would be glad to answer your question. He's so experienced in many things about life that I am so sure that any question you pose to him today, you will run away with an answer. Don't forget that Mr. Asuquo is a coach and these questions cost money, but on African Townhall Online Television, any answer you get today will be free. That is what he promised us as part of his support for our program. Okay, thank you. We'll be expecting your questions as we begin to tidy up this interview. Now, I always go off the cuff a little bit each time I'm in this kind of meeting with an exciting guest like you, Mr. Asuquo. At least you were fully conscious when you left Nigeria to the US. So you know Nigeria, you know our country, and you know Africa.
Very well.
And politics and the acquisition of political power in Nigeria, in particular, and the whole of Africa generally is a do or die game. Do you have a position on the insane approach and attitude to the acquisition and use of political power in Nigeria specifically, or in Africa, the whole of Africa generally these days? You know, they use this power not to serve or to provide, but they use the power to destroy, to kill. So do you have a position on that?
Yes, I do. Like you said, it's a do or die affair, and the reason is not far-fetched, and that's the fact that there is so much unemployment in the system. There is no creativity. There is no resource for people to explore their opportunities and execute them. People want to live in power. The only source of business that are striving is nothing but politics, or people that are connected to politicians. Those are the ones that the business are really flourishing. I'm sorry to say it. Another aspect of business that are flourishing, probably connected to religious organizations that are flourishing because they make some extra funds every Sunday or every week. Excuse me, I'm not here to make anybody feel bad, but that's just the truth. But as an individual, you see, I run a business in the US. I run a platform, and people are paying for those services. People pay. Some people pay 47,000 naira to talk to me. If I was in Nigeria, the resources I used to run it, look at the internet, Zoom call, my computer, some of the resources that I have to read, I have to, take care of them. I mean, I am not looking for gain currently, but people are paying. You go on my website, you have to pay $100, which is about almost 50,000 for 90 minutes to talk to me. Now, if I was in Nigeria, I probably would say, okay, I'm a pastor. No, I don't need to be a pastor because I'm working and this is running. But now, if you look at the politicians are not striving because they are not ready to work. You find out that someone is in politics forever. He doesn't even have a business because they don't even have a business sense. They don't even need to hire professionals to run their businesses for them. You see people, serving in government for 8 years. They come out, they still want to continue to serve because they are used to taking, but they are not used to investing. Now, we keep taking so much money from oil revenue, from our budget, but you don't see us reinvesting it, building respective industries or respective sector of the economy. What do you expect? So everybody wants to become a politician. So it's a do or die affair. And we can't help it. Again, mind change, mindset just have to change before we can head forward in terms of political settings in Nigeria.
One that is like onto it is our recent African Youth Conference that I convened online and then got many young people from all over Africa to speak. And our theme was the African leadership question, problems and prospects. Many of the young people spoke that showed insight, they have understanding. One of the speakers, Kelechi Ochulo, spoke something very striking. He said that the problem with African leaders has more to do with poverty of ideas and of morals, and that than with leadership. So I think what this means is exactly what you have said. Because they have nothing else they can put their head on, the only thing they think about is, oh yeah, if I grab this power, I can keep collecting. They have no idea. They cannot think, and that makes a lot of these things. I had this analogy about African leaders. I say you bring an African person and give him leadership position, like maybe Nigeria's president. Then you have central bank governor and then minister of finance, and all three of you are sitting together in front of a computer, and he sees how money comes into Nigeria through oil revenue for Nigeria in particular. And then because he has no capacity for that kind of money, he will go mad immediately. He will go insane. And the only thing he will remember is bring, 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 bring. And so for 4 years, for 8 years, he will only, like you said, he will only be asking, bring the money, bring the money. And he won't think about how the money is made, how to expand the capacity and opportunity. That is really unfortunate. Okay. Right now, let's try to wind up this this way. But before then, we would like you to give us your a final word, especially first address two people here, address the rising generations in these final words, and then address Nigerian political rulers. I don't call them leaders because they don't qualify to be leaders in my mind. So I want you to address them. So using your life philosophy, your values, your experiences, successes and failures as a yardstick, what are your final words at this interview for the rising generations of Africa and current political rulers and parents even of the African youth that we have today? Any final word for them that can guide?
My final words to the African youth out there is simple. Intensify your greed to succeed. The road is not going to be easy, but you can. Now, out of all the ruggedity, it's definitely going to mold you for the future. Don't give up. I know it's rough. Trust me. I've been there before. But when you look at the future, do the needful now. Build yourself. Push yourself. Encourage yourself. Don't wait for another person to encourage you. As for our leaders, our political leaders, I lack words to, express how I feel about your leadership style. I lack word when I see leaders that are in power for 30-something years, 40-something years, and they're not ready to leave. I don't know how far or how much you want to remain in power. But I want you to understand that the future of the youths, or the future of Africans, or the future of our continent lies in the hands of the youth. Nigeria, 70% of population are below 40 years. What is that telling you? Give it the next 10 years. Almost every child, every citizen in Africa, in Nigeria, for example, would be definitely youth. They are multiplying every day. So it's high time you think outside of the box. Give them a chance. Groom them. Draw them closer. We have trending technology to help the system. Until you use us, until you give us an opportunity, the system cannot be, salvaged. Thank you very much for having me here today. I hope to see you guys again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asuquo. Thank you. Thank you. This is awesome. It is a pleasure for me to have you at this special event. Thank you for making time to do it. You have shared ways of wisdom, which I believe will encourage many young people of Africa to do better. Even if it doesn't touch the politicians, but I think the young ones will think. So we at the African Town Hall appreciate your coming, and we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
And you too.
Thank you.